Adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion?
Move to adopt the agenda as presented. Okay, second.
Moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you. Next, the minutes from the meeting held June 15th, 2026. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections? Is there a motion?
Having read the minutes of June the 15th, I would move to approve them.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the June 15th meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you. Public notices, please, Quinn.
Town board meeting, the next meeting is Monday, July 20th, and then we have the plan commission meeting here is listed on the agenda as July 8th. It's actually going to be July 3rd, sorry.
It's this one.
Yes, it is listed Wednesday, July 8th. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, next is audit presentation by Sikich.
You're up, Lindsay.
Okay, great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
We can hear you. Good.
Now we can hear you.
All right, perfect. Well, I will just jump right into it then. Thank you for inviting me to your meeting this evening to present the results of your audit for your year ended December 31st, 2025. I've got about a 5 to 7 minute presentation, for you this evening. But if there's any questions throughout, feel free to ask as I'm going through, or else I'll leave time for questions at the end as well. So as a result of our audit, we issued 2 separate reports, our board communication letter, as well as annual financial report. So my comments this evening will primarily focus on that annual financial report, the larger of the reports that were issued as a result of the audit. So our responsibility as your auditors is to express an opinion about whether the town's financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The preparation of those financial statements and internal controls remains the responsibility of management of the township. So within the annual financial report, if you flip forward a few pages, you'll come to page number 1. This is on Sikich letterhead, and this is titled Independent Auditor's Report. So I'm pleased to report that we've issued an unmodified opinion on the town's financial statements. This is the highest level of assurance that we can provide. An unmodified opinion means that we believe the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. So simply put, this is the type of opinion that you want to receive. This is the type of outcome that you want as a result of your audit, is that unmodified opinion. So just, congratulations to the town on the receipt of another unmodified opinion this year. After the independent auditor's report, about 3 pages from there, you'll come to another page that has some Beloit letterhead on the top corner there. It's called the management's discussion and analysis. I always encourage the board to really start here when reviewing your financial statements. Start by reviewing the management's discussion and analysis. As it's titled, it is prepared by management. We just review it to make sure it's consistent with your financial statements and has all the required information in there. But it really does provide a good high-level summary of the town's financial results, and also gives a little background and explanations on why the balances have changed year over year. So in the audit report itself, things are a little more cut and dry, where it just explains, here's the numbers, and there's not so much background behind why a certain revenue stream or a certain expense might have increased or decreased year over year. So just a little more context behind why things might have changed year over year with that MD&A. So again, that would be your section of required reading. I would say we'll start with the MD&A. So after that begins the financial statements. So those are on page number 4. This starts with your statement of net position. I like to say this is kind of a high-level snapshot of your financial operations at year end. So unlike other reports that you're used to seeing throughout the year, this really gives you a summary of everything you own and everything you owe, is what I like to say. So everything you own, it includes things like capital assets, net of accumulated depreciation, and also includes any long-term pension liabilities and any other long-term liabilities that you have that may not be captured in the funds themselves. So again, it's really a high-level snapshot there. Bottom of page 5 shows your net position. So your statement is divided into two categories. You have your governmental activities. So these are essentially your tax supported services and your business type activities. Your business type activities are services that are intended to primarily be supported by user fees. So overall financial position, governmental activities, and total net position of approximately 23.8 million. So 19 million was what you had invested in capital assets. So that's your value of capital assets, less accumulated depreciation, less any debt that was taken out to purchase those capital assets. You had about 300,000 that was restricted for specific purposes, and then about 4.5 million that was unrestricted and available for general operations. And kind of the same thing for your business type activities. You have your net investment of capital assets of about 10.1 million, and then your unrestricted net position of about 6.7 million. The next statement on page 6 and 7 is your statement of activities. So again, that high level snapshot of your financial operations at year end, but this will show you your change year over year. So from there, I look at page 7, about 3 lines up from the bottom shows your change in that position. So your governmental activities had a positive change from 1.7 million, and then your business type activities had a slight drawdown of about 215,000. So overall, as a whole, 1.5 million increase in that position for the year ended December 31st, 2025. The next page, page 8, is your balance sheet for your governmental funds. This is probably more the statements that you're used to seeing on a day-to-day basis. So these does not include any capital assets and does not include any long-term debt for your governmental activities and governmental funds in these statements. Focus here, I would say, would be within your general fund. And the second line up from the bottom shows your total fund balance. So your total fund balance for your general fund was about 9.3 million at year end. And then if you flip forward 2 pages to page 10, that is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. That just shows you how things changed again from last year to this year. Among all funds, you had an increase of about 500,000. General fund did account for about 2 million of that increase as well. A couple pages forward from there is page number 12. So this is your business type activity statement for the sewer fund. So similar presentation as what I talked to at the beginning of the presentation. So your business type activities, they always include long-term debt in those funds. They always include long-term assets, unlike your governmental funds where you don't report those. Your business type activities do always report these items. So it's going to be the same numbers as what you saw on the statement of net position and statement of activities. Overall, again, bottom of page 13 shows your net position. So you have your net investment capital assets of 10 million, and then your unrestricted net position of 6.7 million. And then page 14 again shows your changes in net position for that fund. So overall, had operating income or loss, which was a loss of about 379,000, which is in the middle of the page there. Overall change in that position, that was a decline of about 215,000, brought you to ending net position of about 16.9. So that concludes my comments on the financial statements themselves. The other report that was issued as a result of the audit was that board communication letter. So that's just our required communications we provide to the board as a result of our audit. Within that packet, it includes any adjusting entries that were posted as a result of the audit. There were a handful of entries that were posted during the audit this year. So I just want to give you a high level overview of what those related to. Mostly routine entries that we post annually, resulting from our audit procedures, year-end adjustments and pension and lease adjustments that we do assist the town with posting those annually, along with a few minor reclassification entries as well. The adjustments themselves, just like highlight, nothing unusual and did not identify any concerns as a result of those adjustments that were posted. We're also required to communicate any significant difficulties encountered during the audit, any disagreements with management, or any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses in internal control. Pleased to report that we had no disagreements with management, no difficulties in performing the audit, and no internal control recommendations or reportable findings to communicate this year as well. So with that, just want to make sure I also recognize John. The smooth audit process depends heavily on preparation and responsiveness of your team there. John provides us everything we need in a timely, organized manner, and he's very professional and easy to work with. So I just, want to make sure that he's recognized for everything that goes through the audit process as well. So that concludes my presentation, but I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Any other questions? We're good.
We're good, Lindsay. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great evening.
You too. Bye.
Next includes the audit presentation. Next is citizens' participation. Public comment is limited to actionable items on the agenda only. Each person must complete a public comment card and it must be given to the town clerk. Each individual may speak once for a maximum of 2 minutes, and there is no yielding of time to any individual. Speakers must come to the podium and state their name and address. Comment time will be limited to 30 minutes in total unless extended by board action. Public hearings will be limited to 30 minutes in total unless extended by board actions. Anyone wishing to speak? And is submitted
I got several requests to be heard here. One of them was Joey's Roman regarding, I don't tag the consolidation of the fire department.
Shelley Stroman, 6555 South Kruger Drive, Beloit, County Brock. So I'm here tonight to speak on action item 10B. I'm not here to tell you whether this agreement should or shouldn't be moved forward, but I believe that there are a few unanswered questions.
Here.
Microphone's right there, so. Yeah, there you go.
I'm not here to tell you whether this agreement should or shouldn't move forward, but I believe that there are a few unanswered questions. I live in the town of Brock. My subdivision sits just across from the town of Beloit border and adjacent to the hyperscale data center site and several other large industrial projects being considered for this area. There are 52 homes in our neighborhood. And like many residents in the town of Brock, we rely on the town of Beloit Fire Department for our fire protection and emergency response. Our township pays for that service and we depend on it when our families need help, like my family recently did. So I'm asking, where do we fit into this conversation? If this consolidation moves forward alongside significant new demands on fire and emergency response, what protections are being put into place for communities like ours who rely on these services? Can you guarantee that the level of service we receive won't be reduced? Can you guarantee that our response times won't increase? Can you guarantee that the town of Brock taxpayers won't be asked to pay more because of future project needs? The reality is that the township lines don't matter during an emergency. Please don't ask residents who already pay for and depend on these protections to simply trust that everything will work out. Show us the plan, show us what protections are being put into place to ensure that our level of service will not decline or be compromised, and that our taxpayers won't be left paying the ultimate price, both figuratively and literally, because of decisions made outside of our township. Our community deserves those answers before any agreement moves forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next request to be heard I have here is from colleague Lee. The discussion topic is listed as a moratorium.
Point of order, do you have a comment about the hiring of the police officer 10A or the agreement of the fire department 10B?
No.
Okay, those are the items we're voting on tonight. So those are the ones we're taking comments on tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a request from Suzanne Larson regarding item 10B combining the fire departments.
My name is Suzanne Larson and I live at 2315 West Creek View, Hartwell. I would like to express my concerns about combining the city of Beloit and town of Beloit fire departments. Mainly, if the two departments are combined, I'd like assurances that the staffing levels will not be decreased. We need to have enough first responders available to cover the whole region at any given time. The Power and Light is planning to build a liquid natural gas facility within a mile of my house. If this facility has an explosion, my home is in the blast radius. We will need emergency plans in place for this potential catastrophe. I am 100% against this LNG plant. There are also discussions about building data centers within 2 miles of my home. Data center fires could also tax our fire departments. We need a moratorium on these data centers so we have time to evaluate the negative impact data centers will have on our environment and the potential decrease in homeowners' property values. The citizens of the town of Beloit should be given the chance to vote on any data center proposal. Thank you.
A request from Sue Fugate. This discussion topic listed is audit and fire consolidation.
Hi, my name is Sue Fugate. I live at 2771 South Mohican Drive in this town. And I'm wondering if I could have a copy of the SIGIS report, the audit.
Right here, Sue.
Thank you. I'm not done. Okay, come on, my time.
You got 2 minutes. You can do whatever you want with it.
And the second thing is, there's a lot happening in the Town Line Road corridor north of our town, and I'm concerned about, the what ifs. So this consolidation probably makes sense on some level, but I want to make sure that all of the fire training is in the budget for 2026 to deal with what if, with anything to do with construction. And then moving forward, what happens, what if for the LNG facility, anything to do with power and light, any proposed data center. And now we're talking about a battery energy storage site. All of those things concern all of us. And I've seen some of the reports of the what ifs that actually have come into play. And I think we deserve to have some real, more than a consolidation, an action plan to assure students or residents rather. The students are right across the street and right down the road from a proposed data center. That's scary too. Thanks.
Next, we have Lori Untoon. Discussion topics listed is fire suppression and inspecting requests for technology facilities.
Hi, my name is Lori Huntoon. I live at 3909 East County Road J in the town of La Prairie. And I'm here to talk about 10B. Regardless of whether you vote or not to consolidate, I just want to remind all of you that the fire suppression systems for technology centers such as data centers require a lot of new, they have a lot of new requirements and training, as Stu mentioned, through NFPA 75 for IT equipment and NFPA 76 for telecommunication facilities. The traditional sprinkler systems can be catastrophic. We all know that water and electronics don't mix. So there's layered suppression systems, but there are also clean agent fire suppression systems, which I'm very familiar with. I'm a licensed professional geologist with the state of Wisconsin, and I do a lot of work with PFAS, per and polyfluorinated substances, You've all heard of them as the forever chemicals. And so FM 200 and Novec 1230 are some of the things that are used for the clean agent fire suppression. These require, for data centers that are being proposed, like the one here, monthly visual inspections are required for NFPA 2001 for clean agent fire extinguishing systems and NFPA 72 for alarm and signaling code for detection system components that are integrated with suppression. Semi-annual requirements are the primary compliance audit and then 5-year hydrostatic testing. That I encourage you to keep the amount of fire staff as it is now and not reduce the new fire staff because there are these significant requirements. It requires significant planning and coordination with data centers for the correct suppression agents, avoiding electronically charged equipment, radio operation challenges. And the other thing is lithium batteries. Most of these facilities carry thousands or millions of these lithium batteries on site. So again, I just want to encourage you to keep them staffing the way it is or larger and keep in mind these additional requirements that could come if we do put into place a data center. Thank you.
Next I have here is from Danielle Jones. The discussion topics listed is data center and river 4th of July.
Again, it's only for voting items tonight, which is 10A or B on hiring a police officer or the consolidation of our fire services. Okay, next one.
And then I have
Sorry, I will make a comment on this.
On which one, 10A or 10B?
On the collaboration of the departments. My name is Danielle Jones. I live at 2480 South Riverside Drive. I guess when it comes to the bringing together departments, it runs into the who is actually responsible when things happen. If we have a majority of emergencies in the city of Beloit and then we have something sprout up in the township of Beloit, do we then bring some of those fire staff away from the current emergencies to take care of the township of Beloit? You know, the who's responsible when something goes wrong, which I guess I will comment. This past weekend, we live on the river. If anybody drove past Newark Bridge, nobody was responsible for the water going down. I called the DNR, I called the township of Beloit. Both of those people gave me numbers to a business that didn't even own the dam anymore. Not until after the day after with my second call to the DNR, was anything even starting to happen. So again, it comes down to who's responsible when these big companies come in. And how do we get a hold of them to keep things from being catastrophic? So that's my piece. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And the last request to be heard I have here that was turned into me is from Brittany Keys. Discussion topic is how to be the fire consolidation.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Brittany Keys. I am a resident of the city of Beloit and I am your neighbor. I am here to speak to item 10B. As a health professional, I'm very concerned about public health and I appreciating the importance of the collaboration, not here to speak to whether yes or no, but that we all need to work together and be well aware of the risks that we're posing our first responders to, as well as our communities. Hyperscale data centers pose significant risk to our health, both on site as well as off site, with additional infrastructure that is required. As you've heard, there's a number of projects being advanced by Alliant Energy that pose significant threats, and our community has not had a chance to fully be heard in this space. The other item I want to speak to is item 7, as was shared the last meeting. This has been the most active item on the agenda.
That is not a comment that's being voted on tonight. We're not voting on number 7. It is not a voting, and if you want to go to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, an actionable item is discussed and voted upon. So 10A, 10B, we're voting on tonight. Those are the comments that are to be made.
We are committed to communication and transparency with Rock County's Neighbors United
Are you going to continue talking about number 7? No, we're trying to follow an orderly conversation.
Here. Let her
Let
talk.
This,
Well, Sherry's back. In the meeting. Show some respect.
Madam Chair, this is not a UFC fight. This is not participation of the audience. We're trying to hold a board meeting where we are discussing voting items, which tonight it's 10A or 10B.
Since you do not want to.
You have 5 seconds left in your 2 minutes.
Which you have taken Supervisor Walrath.
This is warning number 1. If you're going to continue speaking about
I
items
do not
that are
believe
not
this meeting,
or 10B.
but we will be looking at recall opportunities for those that are eligible. This is not acceptable. You work
Thank
for
you.
the community.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is license hearings, provisional and operator. We have some before us.
And so I had a couple of renewals that came in after the expiration, and then I'll have one new application for some of you that previously have not been doing this, so that, excuse me, or actually two renewals and one new. The agenda before each.
And are they in addition to Sarah Fay, Kevin Arroyo, and Pat Goodwin?
Yep, those are the ones I was referring to.
Those are the ones.
Those are
referring to.
the.
Okay, so I would move, and these have all cleared, these have all cleared the police department and background checks and so on.
Yes.
Okay. I would move to approve the licenses to serve fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquors for Sarah Fay, Kevin Arroyo, and Pearson Goodwin.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded to approve the applications for Sarah Fay. Kevin O'Reilly. Patricia Goodwin. Yes, presented, all in favor.
All right.
Opposed? None. Thank you. Next is purchase orders and bills. Any questions on those? Is there a motion?
I would move to approve.
Question, are we discussing police funding tonight?
No, we're
No,
No. I was wondering if the fire department, if their funding would include training the police department, should they have like mutual aid response to the town line LNG plan and one of the data centers, because they weren't brought up at all when town line approved the LNG plan.
Just as a
That's the
point of
fire
order,
department.
you can feel free, Madam Chair, point of order. The citizen is free to get a hold of our
Can she
administrator.
speak for herself? Point of order?
Police were gonna get emergency response specialized training too.
We do a lot of
Fire
training
department.
together with both departments. And there will be extensive training.
They should know what they're getting into.
We do.
We know.
back to the purchase order.
I make a motion to approve the
Okay,
purchase orders as presented.
second.
Moved and seconded to approve the purchase orders and bills as presented. All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you. Next is new business, discussion and possible action on conditional hiring of a police officer.
So we've gone through the testing process and the candidate that we have selected is Troy Maya. He's done the initial background, he's passed everything. He's done the initial interview process with our psychologist. We're just waiting for that. So I'm asking for a conditional offer. We've been in the works with the school district to add a school resource officer. So we're wanting to hire this position to backfill for that school resource officer. Now, we had a meeting last week and some information kind of back and forth. We're trying to finalize the agreement this week, but they expect to go to the school board next Monday for their final approval, but everything else is set. And so it'd be also conditional on getting that position filled also. this is a brand new hire, so we require the academy would run from August until December, and then field training, so we'd actually have like staff like next May. So we're trying to do this now, before we can be done after for this fall.
It's contingent on
Yeah,
the
the school.
school board passing the school resource officer too, and the funding that would be available from the school district.
And they meet next Monday.
So are we looking for? Are they looking for school resource officers for this coming school year?
They are,
And
yeah, they are. We've already had some applicants, and we'll bring that forward once we're ready to do that. But once everything's approved with the school district, we've actually started soliciting for interest, and then we'll do a joint interview process with the school.
okay, will we be one down or will it still be even?
And it'll be one down, and this candidate would be hired and fully trained, then we would be back to even again.
Okay, thank you.
You have any questions?
Can we ask a question? About the police force budget?
You can ask me after the meeting, so I'll talk to you about it.
It's just 40% more than it was before. And I just think if we're even, how is that possible? So, yeah.
Yeah, we can discuss it after the meeting.
All right. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the conditional offer for a position of police officer for Troy Amata, pending the successful completion of the psychological assessment, medical exam, and final background review.
I'll second.
Is there something? Okay, moved and seconded to approve the conditional offer for the position of police officer for Troy Amaya, pending the successful completion of the psychological assessment, medical exam, and final background review. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Right?
Opposed? None. Thank you. Next is discussion and possible action on an IGA with the city of Beloit on fire department consolidation.
First of all, I would like to introduce some people from the city of Beloit that we've been working with diligently over the past 6 months that helped bring this agreement together. First of all, Elizabeth Krieger, yeah, she was the interim city manager, city attorney. She helped craft this agreement, has been at all the meetings and has been great to work for. And then finance director Eric Muller with the city. He's just as good as I am for the finance part, so we're gonna be in good hands with Eric. And then Daniel Ortiz Hernandez, who is the new city manager for the city of Beloit. Daniel was able to attend one meeting and had some good comments, put his input in and helped craft this final agreement that we have before you. I'd also like to thank Chief Farley and Chief John Cohen, who have helped bring these two departments together and got us to this point where we're at now. And then also all the members of Local 583 that are out here that have been pushing this for years. Hopefully we're going to get this across the line for you guys and gals. So I did not write a new board memo because Beth did such a great job at crafting one and she's way more articulate than I am. So I just put hers in there. I think she summed up the benefits of this agreement for both communities. I've had great discussions with all the board members regarding this. I firmly believe this is in the best interest for both communities going forward. It is going to provide an 81-person department for this area. We will increase staffing as budgetary needs allow us to do that. There will be no decrease in services. The town of Beloit will be getting better service than we have in the past. And the city of Beloit is going to get the support from the town of Beloit. We're coming together as equals for the benefit of everyone.
Any questions from the board? Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve the intergovernmental agreement as provided to the board for combining the city of Beloit and the town of Beloit fire and EMS services.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the consolidation of the city of Beloit and town of Beloit police or fire departments. Sorry. All in favor? Opposed? None. Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Before you adjourn, I would like to-
One thing, before we adjourn, So John, I'm gonna talk to Ms. Fugate about her police budget concerns. It's gonna be, if you're staying for a bit, maybe you wanna talk to what the fire agreement is, and if that's gonna protect all of us, then it's up to you.
Yeah, no, if they have questions, I'll definitely answer. It's not going to decrease our service at all to the community or surrounding.
I'd like to thank all of our fire department personnel and the city of Beloit for all the months and months of work that have gone into bringing this about. I know that there were a lot of things that we had to iron out, but I think it's been done very professionally and efficiently. I really admire the work that you've done. Thank you.
I won't go and say it's been years or decades of work. That's been on and off. But when the right people get in the work, when the right people get in the room, I'm concerned about the safety of our firefighters. And in return, when you have safe firefighters, they can provide the best service to the community. Things get done. So thank you all.
Thanks to all the firefighters. too.
Hard work on this. This has been a long time in coming process. And it definitely will benefit both departments to have a combination or consolidation of resources. So I'm happy that they're able to reach agreements with this.
And I want to assure the people of the township too, that the township's autonomy and power remains within our own control here throughout all of this. And the same goes for the city of Beloit. Everything has to be done on a shared basis. So
We all have an equal seat at the table, and that's important to all of us. So we appreciate that.
I'd vote to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn, all in favor?
Right.
Yeah, adjourn. Thank you.
Yes. I noticed everything. That's maybe you guys direct search trying to go out of there, ready to go. Like, yeah. So that's for multiple. You're guys fine. Are you going to town rocks too?
Yes. Yeah. It's only like 3 days ago. Oh, thank last week.
They did that they started kind of so like yeah, just do action. They just I wonder if yeah, they let her speak here like fire chief is the guy he's one of the guys that's quiet.
Yeah. I'm sure I'm spending that. I'm gonna go to number.
As long as our fire chief issues it.
I said, you know, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God, first warning, Brittany. What was what? You got a first warning. I got a first warning.
I got.
We're going it out. Report. So
Going down in your permanent resident.
everybody needs a record.
I'm just thinking, I'm back.
He shouldn't be. That's what I kept saying. I appreciate that. So, for the, yeah, I think we do.
It's rock, is that in Grafton, is that where it's at?
No, I actually will.
That's town hall, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, in there, town hall is in. Why not?
Yeah, it's the
What the hell, it's Monday.
I know every day. And then if you go to like Darien or Delavan or whatever, on Thursday.
Yeah, so we go every night. That's what everybody wants to do.
I know.
It only gets.
It's like running over track.
So then I'm always like, I support. Nobody else wants it. You know?
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Okay. It was ironic that I just, you know, we continue to cut off the people as he cut me off. Yeah. Our city center participation was happening over something.
Bring back democracy.
There wasn't a thing before the insurance. Yeah, so it's been since the data center project, it's gone public, but
But I love how you changed it up this time because we got data last time. So then you said it wasn't an actual item.
yeah. Been on shared.
I haven't done that material yet, but they probably will. We'll watch it for it on Wednesday because they cut it back.
Yeah.
They cut it back.
Seconds, yeah.
Yep. But we'll see how they further restrict it this week.
Yeah.
They will. I appreciate it.
Yep, they have provided it. Come on.
Yeah. Meet the minimum requirements. That's the motto. Tomorrow? I don't know. Good, I guess. I'm looking up there. No, I don't. During at city. And then Turtle. Then the other one. Right.
Good to see you too.
Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it's like seven.
Eric.
Perfect meeting for awesome finance. I got all these things. No idea.
Yeah, well, he's the one that cut me off repeatedly and was taking role of the sugar. Yeah, he's the one that said he asked me to take it to the Supreme Court if I kept on.
I think it's fun. We're talking, it's like all about this spring.
More, John said the moratorium will not.
Why? You mean like they do it
We
without us?
heard what you said. And we can't, we know what your concerns are.
They're not gonna put it on the agenda.
I asked Diane and I asked John and he said, no way.
All right.
Okay,
You might even let's check the talk for a half hour. That'd be terrible.
at least it'll be nice.
Miss Roger,
Information is power,
I didn't expect any from you.
but now we know. We don't waste our time thinking it will. Information is power.
Yeah, he just said it to me.
How does we decide that? I mean, isn't it something a board should decide?
You should think.
Not just one person or two?
He said he's received our emails about that. And I asked Diane directly, can we just get on the agenda? At least the city of Beloit is holding a discussion tomorrow. Why can't we do that? There's nothing actionable. I'm like, we have concerns. We know your concerns.
You don't know
No,
the
you don't.
concerns. You haven't
I
listened.
said, you have it, the tip of the iceberg. Tip of the iceberg.
You haven't heard our concerns. You've heard we have concerns. You haven't heard the concerns.
She
Right?
hasn't had the courage to put it on the agenda to listen.
And John, I don't know who's directing traffic. Alex, her, or both. Or Steve. Or Steve running the meeting today. Yeah.
Well, I'm the Illinois, they're suing their board. Like I mean, I've heard like people have gone after the agencies that are doing the government statement. In Illinois, they've raised 17,000 already. This is a fundraiser. And they are suing.
I think we should share a GoFundMe. Hey, we're gonna.
What he had to say. He says, well, this is they just said.
I want to correct one thing real quick.
She doesn't have to.
Yeah, I'm okay. I said I bring your bodyguard.
Okay.
That's wrong, man. I don't know why he's pulling you aside. That is.
Bring your ass to see. Absolutely not. It's respectful. It's not adhering to the rules of what we're trying to do with the business meeting. Now, that's not why I wanted to talk to you. You made one statement. I just wanted to be correct. Just remember grandma. Okay? And I wrote it down. I think it's okay. What you said was, and I apologize, you're talking about something with the geology and so forth. But you said that which concerns the proposed data center here. There is no proposed data center here. There is no proposal.
There are proposals.
No, not even.
I mean, maybe not.
It's
maybe not to the board,
semantics,
but there are
Steve.
proposals.
It's semantics.
There are-
Very much semantics. There is no proposal.
You're a town administrator.
So what I'm,
Well, so hang on one second, semantics,
Yeah.
through the board may not have a proposal, but the proposal has been provided and it's proposed.
who?
And well, we just went through an information with Hannah County that showed us. a proposed data
Did they
center.
propose that to you? And do you have the authority to say yes or no to that? And the answer would be no.
They've already proposed.
They
it.
haven't proposed anything on the. They haven't proposed
No, but we had an information center, proposed data center.
Their proposal, not
I
ours.
didn't see whose proposal,
I know, but the impression was for a proposed data center.
I didn't
here.
get that impression.
Well, okay, then I did.
It wasn't,
So I'm trying to have a conversation.
it wasn't.
I'm just saying that.
But that's all that I wanted to clarify. That's all I wanted to clarify is that we didn't have any proposal. It would be like, for example, if Tony's Pizza said, we're gonna propose a pizza. Well, that's your, not ours.
You guys haven't proposed it, but it is a proposed data center in the.
From Panasonic. It's no different than the Chrysler building saying, we want to propose a.
City of Beloit is proposing water extension to a proposed data center in the town of Beloit. Looking at this, I've seen the study in, somebody had a water extension to the town of Beloit for the proposed data center. So I'm using their word.
Like I
Do you want to argue semantics
I'm
when?
not arguing anything. I'm just having a conversation.
But
Which is all I have here is a conversation. Like we're having a conversation. I wanted to simply correct something that I maybe took a misinterpretation from, that we didn't have a proposal.
So can I correct something with you? Okay, so it's Panatone's event, right?
Sorry,
It was Panatone's event, correct?
the public open house?
Yeah. So why did the town of Beloit sponsor it?
Who said we sponsored?
The open records request says that you're sponsoring it.
I think it had something to do with the,
You applied.
see, that's what I didn't read the application.
The one that applied to have the event there.
I didn't read the application. I can't speak to those words.
To get a better rate for Panatone.
So it is.
What?
To get a better rate for Panatone.
To get a better rate?
So
John
is pay the.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't have anything to do with that. So then the talk, Dr. Okay.
I'm out of spring one, sir.
Oh, hey, what's your name?
Yeah, sure, actually.
Oh, John, yes, sir.
Yeah, I've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Been on the board for 40 years, 40 years, district.
Yeah.
Very good. I put a lot of effort and time into the kids, the district. Yeah, and I'm really concerned about this data center going to here with 3 school buildings so darn close. Everything I've heard is negative. So what are we gonna do? We're just gonna wait for it. We're gonna come in and say, well, we got $2 million.
No, that's not what's happening.
Well, that's.
Panatone is a gorilla. Okay,
Yeah.
they're gorillas. Gorillas like to come into towns all over the United States and throw money at people because they want what they want. Okay?
I take it with that. Say no.
Dave, sorry.
It's a gorilla, they know one.
No, it takes one who's wrestled with a couple of them. I can tell you that. I've wrestled with a couple of gorillas in my professional career. Here's the issue. You can never beat a gorilla. What you can do is understand what motivates them so that you can work in order to move them along. You can't just say no, because they will litigate you to say, I have every right to do what I want to do, just like you have every right to do what you want to do. Now, that's what they litigate. For example, I just read today the latest lawsuit in Urbana, Ohio. Urbana, Ohio decided that they wanted to see what this whole data center thing was all about. They decided to put a 12-month moratorium on it. And Thor Erickson, Thor something, their developer, immediately 2 days later filed a lawsuit against the town for doing it.
So you'll sacrifice us because you're.
No, you're not listening to the conversation. No, you're not. Here's the conversation. It's not a matter of just saying no in order to get sued, of which you, not you, because you're in the city, but whoever's in the township, our taxes are going to pay for that litigation. And that litigation is going to cost, I got estimates of $1 million to $1.5 million. So I want to say no or yes in such a way that we avoid getting sued in order to have taxpayer money used for lawyers to put their kids through college. So it's not just a matter of saying, no, I don't want it. You got to say no in the right way.
But keep in mind, and this is not a threat, it's just a conversation.
Yep.
That there's also a lot of communities getting ready to sue their boards.
That's right. This is all taxpayer money.
But I'm
See,
just
this whole
saying-
Washington thing is taxpayer
But
money.
it need be because people who live in the area and around it.
Yeah.
You know, or outside the township.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of issues associated with it.
100%.
Just
A million percent. Sorry.
I think Beaver Dam just sued Microsoft, right?
No, who sued Microsoft was a class action suit of citizens against. Now, to your point, everybody's watching Port Washington and Beaver Dam and saying this was a cluster. Okay. And everybody, including your hero Prescott, is the first one to go, that is the worst deal I've ever seen in my life. I read both of those development plans before I even understood all this stuff, and I went, no, were they thinking tax abatements? 24-hour construction? I mean, they were going down the list. And I know that they're being used as the poster child of, we don't want that. I agree 1,000,000,000%. They were desperate for money because Port Washington lost all their manufacturing. They were going bankrupt. So did a gorilla come in and offer them a bunch of money? Yeah. Today, I talked to Perry Township, Ohio, because they just passed a TIF district. Their TIF district says for 30 years, we will give you a data center, Amazon. We will give you a 30-year tax abatement in exchange for $2.75 million.
So it sounds
That's a little township. No, it's not. Over 30 years, it's 90,000 a year.
Okay, I thought you were going to.
No, it's 30 years, 90,000 a year. And you're going, you just did that for 90,000 a year? Like you could do a fundraiser with Girl Scouts.
So I lived in Kansas until January, working for an environmental consulting firm that does work for a data center.
Yeah.
And down there in Kansas, they're requiring that the data center coming in, put in a brand new wastewater treatment facility. Or put in a brand new, like infrastructure with utilities and roads. And that's why now citizens are coming to Wisconsin, because we're not asking for that. And Kansas is, so it's like a cheaper deal.
No, well,
Can I?
nobody's asking for it yet. See, because Port Washington, Beaver Dam and Mount Pleasant rolled over like a dog in the middle of the road.
But we don't even want that.
I understand, but to your point, the gorilla realizes they can't just run over everybody like they used to. I'll give you a brief example just from this meeting right here. We were supposed to have in front of us tonight a cost reimbursement agreement. Okay, meaning, okay, if we're going to study this stuff, we're not paying for it. I mean, we told that.
But you've already taken the first one.
Wait a second, let me finish. They were gonna pay for everything. And at 1 o'clock on the day of the agenda, they called us up and started to redline things.
Interesting.
See, I didn't find this out till just now too. John says, do you know why I took it off? Says they called me up at 1 o'clock on agenda day and say, well, we don't want to pay for that and we don't want to pay for that. You know what John said? Say it, get out of here. We don't need you. And I'm not presenting that to my board with you telling. So I'm,
Okay, well, and one of the board members at Town of Turtle said the same, she was concerned about the same thing happening.
so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not going to say trust us. I'm not going to say that. I'm not asking that of you. I am saying, ask me anything, and I'm going to flat out tell you, we are doing everything to keep the gorilla at bay.
So how did?
The gorilla's not going to run us. Do what?
Can we help you? Well, first of all, they want to come in and they want to pay money, Ton of Turtle, 250,000 for your studies.
Yeah.
My question is, as a professional geologist, long time environmental consultant.
Yep.
Who are they going to hire? Because those,
Wait a minute, because we're hiring independent people.
right, but those posters at the town.
Okay, I never got it in the gym.
Oh.
All right, I never got inside there.
I can show you a picture. The posters were horrible. Like I'm a science teacher too. They were horrible. They had no facts. They had no, and so those kind of companies.
By the way, just because they're gorilla doesn't mean they're professional.
Right. So those kind of companies, whoever they hire, not only is going to hire me because I'm curious.
Town's not hiring me.
Well, no, but whoever the city or
Township, whoever.
hires, likely they're with the company that does data center.
No.
So
Well, you're taking a great leap.
no, because most people do. There's very few consultants like me, and I don't want you to hire.
Well, they could specialize in it, right?
That don't
Can I ask you guys a question?
work for data centers. Wait, let me
I'm sorry,
one more thing. So what I'm asking is, if you're going to do some studies,
Yeah.
let us give you names of people,
By all means.
who are
Okay.
independent,
Yep.
don't live here, will do a good study, not for a con, just science, just facts, right? And so that's what I'm asking. Okay, and you're gonna question.
I have a question.
That's right.
So the land, okay, let me back in.
Official, but I want it.
Remember about 6 or 9 months ago when the big talk was about immigration prison?
Mm-hmm.
You know, about a year ago, you know, that they wanted to make these big buildings in a 10,000 bed prison system. Okay,
You mean it isn't in the.
how did they stop those? How did they stop the immigration prisons? Now, I didn't say they stopped all of them,
Right.
but the ones that made the headlines, how did they stop?
The people who owned them themselves, right?
I hope that, how would.
The people.
So the bottom line was this, the citizens got a hold of the people who own things and go, do you want us? Do you know how this might be used? Do you know this, whatever?
That's
What I-
been the underlying question though, because they have.
What underlying question?
Because right.
It's private, it's private. It's private.
I'm saying, but nobody has heard anything from them, whether or not they do want to sell it or.
They're public people. They have public businesses. They have a public address. They have.
Like in front of me in Iowa, the land that's going for 15,000 an acre. They're offering.
That's private property. That's the United States. I'm really sorry, but that's private property.
Say to someone,
Of course, it
you know,
is.
but I will say that,
But-
okay, I live in town La Prairie. They wanted to come in and put a big cave over there, contained animal feed operations. And the farmer got a lot of crap, like his grandkids, like it was like, there was a lot of, like, people were unhappy with him. And still what kept it out was that they had nobody around them, the farmers around them did not take, literally not take this, like literally not take their waste, right? Because they'd have to pump it off. And so it was so expensive, they didn't put it there. So it was the surrounding
But
community.
see, that's, well, no, but see, that's why, so that's why this whole thing is not about yes or no. The argument becomes, what do you do with a gorilla? And how do you manage the gorilla? And I'm saying, we now have historical knowledge of what they're capable of doing. And we already are going, no, sorry, that's not how this is going to work.
I do understand, my husband was on the Prairie Town Board for about 35 years. And when they came in with some farm, like the chicken farms and things like that, he said they are pushing them out. Now that was ag, because Department of Ag.
There's a whole bunch of stuff.
But there's, you know, I don't know.
But yeah, I gotta tell you, these, I'm gonna say poor folks in Michigan. In Michigan, Panettone came in, did their presentations, much like we had. And I read it in black and white. They said, according to the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, you have to approve this.
Yes.
You have to.
No, but they stopped the windmills up there too. What, Michigan. Windmills.
Oh, well, that's a whole other.
They were able to stop.
I know, that's a whole other animal, but to your point though, I'm just saying that the gorilla is using, and we have to go, okay, what are you trying? And now we have to go and do, you know.
But that's where the moratorium makes sense, because you have time to see how all these cases are gonna.
Careful that in the.
That, this is where a moratorium doesn't, here's why. And I'm only giving you my opinion, I'm not speaking for them.
There's time to see. I mean, these court cases are gonna.
There is nothing. A moratorium would not stop 1 minute of the work that I'm doing tomorrow. It wouldn't stop one single thing, okay? I'm actually doing, a lot of the board is doing the work. We have tasks to do to go, due diligence, due diligence, due diligence. A moratorium doesn't stop us from doing the work, and we're doing it anyway. One person I talked to, I said, what if I could give you the answer to your question in, say, 90 days? Why would I want to wait a year and a half to give you the answer I already have?
You can break a moratorium, just because that you said a
But then
moratorium
there's no
doesn't mean,
point to it anyway.
doesn't mean that you can't come
That's,
back.
there's no point to it.
But I'm just saying it is.
It's like saying,
There are.
you have a car and I think you're driving it too fast. So I'm gonna put a governor so you can't drive so fast. And I'm going, I'm going the speed limit. I'm obeying the laws and everybody is safe. So why do you think I need a governor on my car? Well, because it's going too fast for me. I go, well, I understand,
I don't like this.
but you don't have to worry about driving it.
So can you say,
It's not.
we'll have an answer for you in 180 days?
I can't tell you I have an answer to
I don't know.
I can tell you I'm doing the work.
No, but I'm saying that
Like
to the
it.
data center.
Never-
Instead of saying, oh, some moratorium, boom, can you say, we'll have an answer
This
for
is
you
off.
in 180 days?
Know it.
Instead of
I wouldn't
moratorium.
promise any time to anything to anybody, whether it's 60 days or 2 years. Because here's why, okay? I don't know about you folks, but I've been in business and I've been sued and I have sued. So I'm afraid I have way too much experience in court. I hate it.
I could tell you.
If you went through that, you hate it.
Yeah.
It sucks up your energy, your time, your
Heck,
emotion.
when against the Catholic Church took
Ugh.
2002 to 2000.
Okay, so I hate that process. But it puts me in the mind frame of no matter what the answer is, I'm gonna have to answer in front of a judge to somebody.
And-
Whether it's a judge,
Should be thinking that a lot.
whether it's a judge here, a judge there, somebody's gonna have to answer to a judge. And so everything that I am doing is but the court system.
Right.
Is that there has to be a rational decision made. I wish it could be, I just don't want it. But I'm afraid I've got 12 cases now between Ohio and Michigan where they said, we just don't want it. And the gorilla said, okay, then we'll litigate it. And you're gonna have to prove to a judge the constitutional reason that you're denying us this lawful activity. And so that's what I'm saying is the work that we're doing is to create literally the argument we're gonna have to make in front of a judge, no matter what happens.
So, like I said,
It's a fair argument, giving yourself time to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what we're doing.
So can I,
I don't need 18 months. I don't need 24 months. I don't need 90 days.
let us help you.
can I say something?
We are doing.
Steve.
No, you're not doing the work.
Yes,
How
we
many
are.
people have you called today in Ohio to talk about data center construction?
How do you know that we're not doing a?
So the bottom line is we offered, I don't want to go down this. Bottom line is we're doing the work.
Can I say something
Of course.
without being interrupted?
I'll try.
I appreciate.
Try.
Yeah, talk to Lori, you me.
I appreciate what you're saying here. Don't get me wrong that I don't. But that's not how we are being made to feel.
I got you.
We are not being made to feel like we are.
But you see, this is the conversations we need to have.
So why aren't we?
Well, wait a minute. Yeah, right. You don't have to be on the record for this.
Yes, we do.
For what? Tell me what? Tell me what's the difference between on the record?
Everybody can talk. Why can't we have a meeting?
We did. We had a forum here, what, April the 4th?
But things have.
After the meeting and everybody.
Information's
Okay, I got you. So we could have another one.
Yeah, more people know about it.
Happy to do that. Let's have another forum.
Because now you're.
I would love that.
Okay.
And announce it.
Of course.
Rather than 6 of us talking with you and, you know.
But haven't you felt this is more constructive than
Yeah.
social media?
Right, but you can't do this 50 times.
What do you mean 50 times?
Well, like there's more
6 people at a time.
Oh, no. I understand. Yeah. Sorry. No, I understand.
This is our forum. This is our room. We bought it.
Mhm.
We sit here in front of all of you as our elected representatives, and we simply want ourselves to be heard on the record. I'm not sure.
Who says you're not being heard?
Where are we on the agenda, Steve?
Agenda has nothing to do with being
Agenda
heard.
has everything to do with.
It has
In
nothing
fact,
to do with being
why
heard.
is it that the city of Beloit is opening up their agenda to discuss?
I have no idea. You have to talk to them.
Why won't you guys?
Yes.
Oh, we got nothing to talk
Yes,
about.
we have a lot to talk about.
Like I've called.
What exactly has not been, what exactly do you
Why
believe
didn't you?
has, Sue, how about a conversation? What is it exactly that you feel we haven't heard? I understand there might be 50, but what do you feel has not been heard?
It's not a feeling, it's a matter of
Well, you
record.
said feeling. Seriously,
No,
Kelly said, we
you know,
don't
Kelly
feel like
speaks
not being
for
heard.
I speak for me. I don't speak for the whole
Well,
group.
okay, what do you feel like hasn't been heard?
That's not my conversation. This is Sue's conversation.
I'm saying. No, I want it official. I want to be heard.
And what would change with that? Just asking.
It would
It
get
would
out.
show, it would be a sign of good faith on your part.
I'm standing here when I could go home and have dinner as a sign of good faith.
Yeah.
Well, I think the
I
one.
mean, I could run out of here. I don't have to run out of here. I can
But
talk to
you
you
know, look
anytime.
at everybody's here.
It would be nice.
Everybody else gets to hear. what you're
So
saying.
we talked all
Gotcha.
the way back in March,
I
right?
didn't hear you. I'm Steve, by the way.
Brian.
Brian, thank you, Brian.
Oh, we talked all the way back. So much has transpired since then. So yes, wouldn't it be wonderful to have?
Yeah,
another-
it's transpired.
So
since-
we got the battery.
We've done a lot of, yeah.
The battery
The
facility.
battery
came
facility.
up.
Oh, you're talking about that.
Right,
Yeah.
but still,
But it's all-
Involved, it's related. Okay,
It's all related.
like I've talked
But
to,
that stuff, we don't have any, you know, we're not involved in that.
Yes, actually, you are tangentially involved with the fire protection issue.
It's valid. I wrote all the notes down about that. That's very valid. Sure. Training and,
The town of
What's that?
Rock,
Of course, it's valid.
yeah,
okay.
the town of Rock, the town of Rock's board is really good about, he sat down, who was it? You were
Yeah.
there. And he's like, look, let's take 10 minutes. Let's try to talk
Sure.
about this. 'Cause he wants to know
Yes.
more.
yes,
Because he doesn't know everything, and we don't expect you guys are up there doing it, you know, looking
Right.
all this up. Because, you know, internet's half truth, half not. But there's a lot of,
90% untruth.
yeah, but there's a lot of evidence here that there's more time is needed for people to see how all these court cases, everything's going on. And I know, you know, that's a concern about getting sued.
Sure.
But the time, you know, there's people, like she said, we can help. We can get, you know, if you're worried about money, they can crowdfund.
Well, Lori's gonna send me a list of, some of the engineers or something that you were.
and geologists. So, for instance, Fish and Wildlife Service, where are they with regard to endangered species and the 18 migratory birds that are of concern?
I have no idea.
And Army,
Because we have no proposal.
Army Corps of Engineers. Army Corps
If
of
it's a
Engineers.
500 gigawatt or an 8 gazillion gigawatt, it's gonna have a difference to the bumblebees and birds.
Here's the
You gotta compare something to what's presented.
That's hard because there's not much out there.
I've
to
done this for
compare.
3 decades. The bumblebee doesn't care if it's an empty building or if it's filled with data equipment. But once you put in those large buildings, that bumblebee is gone. Right? And so my point is, it matters the size with regard to whether or not they're using, you know, we know it's
Sure.
30 to 50% glycol in
Or
a
whatever.
cooling system
Sure.
and they're cooling a closed loop. So we have a lot of these concerns, but the issue is this. DNR has already approved permits associated with this site. Army Corps of Engineers has already written off the wetlands delineation for this site.
Okay.
That you're saying that.
I'm sorry.
But it's already done. And so you can
What they've
talking
done.
to Army Corps of Engineers saying, wait, isn't this your jurisdiction? Why don't you have?
But they just
jurisdiction
did the
here?"
jurisdiction. They made their decisions. What does that have to do with the work that we're doing?
Well, because you should be concerned about the,
Yes.
like, have you looked at, do you know how many acres of wetlands are on that proposed site?
But you just said they approved it.
Well, they approved it because they're fast tracking it. If this was any business, if this was your business or anybody else's business, you would have had to go through an environmental impact statement.
Yeah.
Because they're going with these data centers and wait.
But the argument you're making is the same argument as PSC. We have no control over PSC and I hate the way they do what they do.
Listen, they're saying that these are national security for these data centers. They're fast tracking them and they're not doing the environmental impact statements the way they should.
Oh, wait a minute,
So-
wait, stop with it. Did they designate that as a national security site?
This is why they have not designated that as national
I
security.
didn't think so.
But the regulations they're designating and they're fast tracking so that people like Fish and Wildlife and Army Corps are going like this. There's still jurisdiction, but they're
You're
doing
gonna
it
have to talk
quickly.
to the White
They don't have the
House.
time. No, because you guys can say, hang on a minute. We want you to do an environmental impact statement. You can ask.
You're missing, I understand that, but you're missing the point that legally, literally, all they have to comply with is the permit that's been, I get, according to you, that has been approved. And in fact, as I was at the Town of Rock meeting, and I know Tony, but not personally, but he made a statement, and I didn't verify it, but he said, the state law actually says if they meet the conditions, we can't put more conditions.
They haven't met the conditions. They're getting around it. They haven't met the conditions. If it was your business and not a data center, you'd have to do it.
So let me
Okay.
ask a question. Now, any business can be built in Wisconsin if they check all the boxes. The difference in the board is they can apply conditions.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are you willing to entertain the notion that an environmental impact statement would need to be one of the conditions for
100%.
approval? Oh,
So I'm gonna back that up because, because
Let me
they-
finish one conversation.
but I'm gonna back that up to you because we know what we heard from Tony.
Let me have one conversation here. I agree with you, Sue, 1,000,000,000%. Of course, environmental impact would be part of it. I'm gonna tell you,
Environmental impact state.
well, whatever your term is,
No,
I agree with you.
It's not a term that I made up.
Well,
It's a rigorous.
Whatever you're trying to say, I
I'm
agree
just
with
saying,
you.
if you're gonna put that
Okay, that's
forward, I would encourage you
agree.
to speak with the rest of the board about that exact same thing. That's
Absolutely.
important to me.
Well, I can tell you what's important to me. The numbers, financial numbers.
Well,
Do you
that'll buy you a lot. of
No, no,
people.
Oh, no, you're missing point.
What numbers? I don't know any numbers.
Exactly.
What numbers are you getting? that-
What's gonna happen to the town levy when $1 billion facility comes in? What happens to the mill rate? What happens according to Wisconsin law as to how that can be allocated over the next 20 years? See, there is a lot to everything we're talking about here, of which I agree 100%. In fact, I have an 18-page document that came from the No Data Center Proof. Pardon?
Can we see that?
No, you gave it to me, not you personally, but your No Data People group. They sent me what
Okay.
18-page, yeah. So I literally have the document you gave us from our private meeting where we have it in hand. And it includes all the things that you're talking about, whether it's environmental, whether it's financial,
Well, so
whether
what
it's
does
water.
that have to do with it?
Well, we're working on it. Do you know over the 4th of July weekend, I didn't fire fireworks or drink wine. I did 3 days of making phone calls to data centers in Ohio. I'm the one doing the work. The board is doing the work. We're doing exactly what you're looking for. I don't know what to say other than we're actually doing the work. Now, if you want to talk about forums and stuff, shoot, I'll have a forum anytime you want. I mean,
It's called a town board meeting.
Did,
a town board meeting to conduct business of the board.
This is the business,
It's not when you don't have a proposal.
but we have,
What you have is a fantasy. You have a fantasy out there of this terrible data center, which it very well might be evil empire. Well, I'm
Yeah.
the other, I got you there.
See, when they're already getting permits approved.
right,
With them, not with us.
so it doesn't exist.
So then you're just
Doesn't exist to
it's
me.
at the end when everybody else is,
I'm doing my job.
when everybody else is given the permits and the approvals, you're just a checkbox on the end. They don't, they're 95% of, let's say.
Well, that's not true. You got a private property owner out there. Do you think he has to sell that if he doesn't want to?
Do you think that he's not going to?
Why don't, I'm not Steve Kennedy.
Exactly.
I've never met him.
So
I
that,
don't
we can end that.
So you're
conversation
saying
right there.
it's not sold yet to them for the,
I'm not privy to those conversations. I don't think
I don't think they're gonna listen to us.
all you gotta do is look up the county records, look up county land records, and I don't know, my
Yeah,
wife
but
does.
They're not updated.
No.
Really?
It can take up to 2 years for them to update.
I wasn't aware of that. My wife just looks up, county land and go, oh, here's who owns it. Okay. I'm not privy to those conversations, but I can tell you this, if anybody were to bring me a contract and say, this land cannot be sold unless you guys do this and this and this, I'll say, I'm reading the contract.
I have a
You
question.
can't, there's no confidentiality, there's no NDAs, there's no nothing. I'm reading the contract.
I have a question and I don't know this. I'm just asking.
I'm Steve, by the way.
I'm Lori.
Lori, thank you, Lori.
I just so you're aware, I live literally right off of Phil Hollow Road, this way, in the township. So
Gotcha.
if the data center goes through, it's gonna be less than a quarter mile from my house. And then if the one from Turtle, it's gonna be the same. So I'm very concerned.
Sure.
Okay, so my question is there, and I'm not even sure if I'm using the proper term, but is there something, because with the schools, 3 of them.
Yeah.
Being within 5 miles
Yeah.
of that data center, I know you guys for years, well, maybe not you, but people on the board or whatever, or town of Beloit, I should say. We're trying to get more housing, more people in the Turner District,
Sure.
more, all these houses is beautiful.
Mhm.
Right in my backyard, to be honest. And all this stuff, the new school and everything, and now they're considering a data center that's gonna affect my grandchildren because they live right there.
Mhm.
And all these new houses that most of them are $300,000 to $400,000
Or more.
or more. I mean, I'm just in,
600,000.
right, but that's just what I'm saying.
True.
That's my big concern.
I don't care how many times I've repeated it. It's true.
Obviously, I remembered it.
Is there something that they can't build within so many miles of a school, or do the schools have to sign off of anything? Cause I'm hearing different things and I don't know.
You don't see them in the middle of like an industrial, like Gary.
Right.
You don't see.
That's my
You can
concern.
only-
It's way too
I think
close.
they want, I'm happy to talk outside. I think she'd like to lock up. I apologize. Didn't mean to hold you up. Let me get my stuff.
Thank you.
I do like it. You're feisty.
Yeah, no, it's nice to meet you. Whatever.
Good night. Why don't you run for the boyfriend if you have all this energy?
Oh, my God.
I'll vote for you. Oh, I don't know. Then you know of everything.
Why should I have to be on the board to know?
Because it's very hard to know much information to disseminate to everybody. There's so much.
We're pretty smart. We can handle that.
I'm good. It's nice to meet you, Mark. Yeah, think about it. I mean, how many papers do you make? We have.
Oh, I already told her. Go ahead. Yeah. I bet that's
Right in the bathroom, like home to the office. And we are going somewhere.
I don't get to choose.
Okay.
So John,
Oh, we're outside.
so John, you said that you told her why the town of Beloit sponsored the Panettone event. Can you tell me why?
We did not sponsor it, okay? Alls I did is facilitated a location.
Your name's on the application.
I had to fill it out because it's under the town's name, right? So they wanted to do it at the Union Hall up in Janesville. And I said, no effing way, because we can't have a meeting in a hall that'll hold 50 people. That'll be surrounded by union people, ushering people in. It's just not comfortable. My board would not have accepted that. So I suggested Blackhawk Tech. I suggested the school, or I suggested the Birch Room at Boundaries. All big places. Blackhawk Tech is close. I talked to Dr. McCarthy. He agreed to let us hold it at the school. Panettone chose the school, or yes, chose the school to have it instead of Blackhawk, because there were some time constraints with Blackhawk, I guess, with they need so much notice to be able to do something. So the school just worked out better. So that was my facilitating. I wasn't in town for the meeting. I told them I was going to be out of town. They said they had to hold it that day because that's when all their experts were.
But why did the town of Beloit have to facilitate the application? Why couldn't Panettone facilitate their own
Because the
application?
school district would not rent to Panettone. So they didn't charge us anything for using it, but they would not allow Panettone to be the agent.
So here's where I'm at though.
Yeah.
That's a conflict of interest because our taxpayer money paid for their use of that school.
There was no charges. We
No.
put all our officers.
But we, the taxpayers, pay for that school. So they used an accommodation at that school
It was-
with taxpayer
It
money.
was done.
His residents.
Yeah, because you would rather have drove to Janesville in a hall that would hold 50 people and you would have been.
I'm just making my
But
point.
that was the.
Escorted in anyway.
What's that?
We were escorted in 50 at a
50 at a
time.
time. You would have been escorted.
Everybody to hear it. We didn't know that, or we were just supposed to be there for parking.
You would have been 5 people at a time at the reading hall.
Yeah.
With the parking, I drove by that place, there's parking for 15.
Well, we are super confused too, though, why so many police officers at the school event when we only had 2 city of Beloit officers sitting in their cars falling asleep for the actual protest?
Because we were supposed to
told
do
us-
traffic.
They told us there was gonna be
And
5.
Rock County,
Yeah.
you called for backup?
No,
That's what, yeah.
That's your own impression. It was.
No, it was one of the officers that I specifically
He
asked.
said it was bad.
He said, we called Rock County. Well, I'm just saying, okay, they appeared out of nowhere.
we were told they're expecting 500 to 600 people at the school. Dr. McCarthy was adamant that nobody parks on the grass.
Yeah.
Was that overtime?
No, there was our officers around there. So, and they were Rock County officers.
And they're
Not
solid
doing
deputies.
So again, we had officers there for crowd control. Then they came up with the idea, I guess, to allow 50 people into the gym at the time. So we had a couple officers go inside.
Yeah.
That's what I was told, just to escort people in and out.
That's interesting. These are really different characterizations than the officer that I spoke with.
Who'd you speak?
Yeah, what was the
Tall guy, blonde, young, I would say
County?
40,
county or town?
town.
Tucker wasn't there.
No.
No.
He's, I would say this tall.
We have Lieutenant Zelensky there that's tall, but he's.
I didn't get.
bald.
No,
He's like 67.
well, this guy's pretty tall.
But
But what his point was, and I asked him directly, why all the police cars? Why all the presence here? It's a very emotional issue and we're preparing for the worst. That's almost a direct quote.
That is.
And then he said, no, this is one of your officers talking to a citizen in response to a direct question. And then he said, and then I said, what about Rock County? He says, yeah, we called them for backup. This was a direct,
He was misinformed and he spoke.
Out of turn.
well, you know what? I'm just.
Well, because I questioned,
That narrative gets corrected because they were there for traffic only, period. We were asked to go in so that people inside were overwhelmed and everybody would have a chance to ask questions. That's the only reason why we stepped inside. Because I told them, I gave them the direction, be in the shadows just for parking. Because they were gonna open up those bus gates too, so everybody could park in the back also. Because that originally they expected 500 people.
They thought 500 people were actually open.
but my concern is, so as having a event at Black Hawk Tech, I had to contact the sheriff's department and let them know, hey, they only had 2 security guards for our event. And according to the college, we had to notify the sheriff's department. When I spoke to the chief, he said, I can either put 2 cars in the area or you can rent them. And it was gonna be $1,300 for the number of hours that we needed for 2 officers to be on site.
We did not,
So why would we be quoted that, but they just showed up at your,
since we provide
Cool.
the way to the county all the time too. I mean, we work together. We go on their calls, they come on our calls.
We covered the whole south part of the county the last few days while we were involved, we were helping on their emergencies.
So we work together like that. So it's just a courtesy.
Nobody's arguing with
Yeah.
that, chief. I mean, nobody's arguing that at all.
Right.
What we're saying is that was really overkill and it looked really
intimidating.
almost as if we're threatening.
No.
And I'm just saying.
If you didn't have horses
I think it now.
and you didn't have mounted police out there, then, I mean, then you
Well,
would
that's up
talk.
to Chief Ebert.
Well, okay, then you'd be talking about, okay, that's intimidating. It was not to intimidate.
Well-
And we did that school to give everybody a chance
I-
to see what they had to say. I mean,
I'm
you would
saying-
not have gotten that opportunity to spell.
They should have organized their presentation so that everybody could be all at once.
They wanted-
No, not you, but them. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that makes sense. If you had 500 people coming in at
Well,
once.
you weren't
I
there. It
wasn't there.
was really, honestly, I actually had to say, it was about as professional as my 5th grade science project. Really poor. And if we're gonna trust this company with any kind of billions of dollars, this is certainly a very poor first impression. Very poor job.
Can't
And you
comment
should
on
have
that.
done that. You should have.
It's on vacation.
I,
It got delayed on the floor.
but you're making me say
Hearing what you're
something to
saying.
you.
You're not the only person. I've heard other people say the same thing. It was a kindergarten
Oh,
presentation. There was no
I
meat
say
to it at all.
because I wasn't great at science.
Okay, there was no meat to it, and we're not
It was,
trusting
it
them.
was,
That is, we don't trust them as far as I can spit. They proved that on Thursday. So again,
what's Thursday?
you don't listen to me. I told you there was gonna be a cost sharing agreement on the agenda.
Oh.
They tried changing it at the last minute and we said no. We're not doing it.
I still want a direct, like a written. How did we get from Cameron to Panatone again?
We don't know. Cameron
So
got,
who's,
Panatone called up and said, we're taking over this project. That is literally.
what does that have anything to do with us? I mean, who's the agreement with? Panatone comes in out of.
Technically, you don't have an agreement right? Because Cameron's gone now.
Correct.
So what does Panatone wanna like assume the money that they gave you, like assume that debt
So
to
here's
pay
what-
reimbursement?
We had an agreement written by the
Right.
attorney to be reimbursed for all the expense
What
we're gonna
attorney?
have.
What attorney?
No, it is our attorneys.
Yeah.
Same ones for the town.
Well, with Cameron, we're talking
Yeah.
about the original one.
They're not Panatone's attorney, they're our attorneys. Same thing with Turtles. They work for us. So we had an agreement crafted to be reimbursed. We have environmentalists, we have finance, we've got all these people we want to bring on board to start getting answers to questions. We have, you have, the board has. We had it all set up. We got a call at 1 o'clock on Thursday before it went on the agenda. They wanted to cap the maximum amount they were gonna pay us.
To
Nothing.
what amount?
400,000. Maybe that's enough. Maybe it's not.
Right.
I don't know. My board won't accept that. They wanted to not reimburse us for staff time. I'm spending hours
Mhm.
on this project, not doing other work for the town that needs to be done.
And
We need
That's one of the concerns with the town
we
attorney.
need to be reimbursed
Yeah.
for that. They took that out. They put in other language that the attorney didn't like. He's out of town. He can't respond. So
who's the attorney that we use?
Tim Linda, for now.
Yeah, everybody's.
Everybody uses Nolan.
Yeah,
They're
and that's,
a municipal attorney. So they represent the town of Rock. They
Yep.
represent.
we know.
Yeah, different attorneys, like we use Bryce Becker for litigation.
So anyways. I
And that's
told them it's
fine, but-
coming off the agenda. I'm gone the next meeting. It will not go on the next meeting. They wanted to have us use the remainder of the Cameron money that was there. Talked to Tim and he said, no way, you can't do that. You don't have an agreement with Cameron. We need an agreement with Pantone. And I was like, then this deal's gonna die. Because if we.
So when Cameron pulled out, then you couldn't,
That's what
charge
he
him more
said.
for that.
I was able to take the 100,000 that they were giving for
right,
that money from Cameron to start these studies, but our attorney advised us not to do that. Like, okay, then I can't start any of this. We don't have an agreement.
If you don't
Nothing's
have
happened.
an agreement, will you sign an agreement?
It will go to the board to be approved. They would have approved that agreement. That was originally crafted, it would have been approved tonight. Because then we could have been reimbursed and gotten our money, gotten our study.
So
They
does it
changed-
concern you that all of this, like, we've gone from this group to this group?
Concerned.
They're not.
That's why I said I don't trust them.
right. It's concerning when they start to want to take
Yeah.
line items off too.
And their response was, it's not us, it's that four-letter word, their attorneys
Yep.
didn't like the way the agreement was written. Well, tell your masters that they can go
Tell your
F
$1 trillion company.
because we're not going to advance this. We're not doing it. Honest to God, true, that is what happened. That's why it came off the agenda, because they tried to
But
change.
you're
the
not gonna
phrase.
be here for the next meeting?
That's why it's not the agenda.
No. What I'm saying is that if you're not gonna be here, we can't set an agenda?
Yeah, they're beginning.
Yeah, but I said, you're not putting something like that on the agenda if I'm not here. That's what I said.
But if you're not here, then we can't put the moratorium request.
If this thing moves forward, we're gonna
No,
have to.
if this thing moves forward.
If this thing moves forward
You
and we
need
get,
some blankets.
I do, and I'm past due. So if this cost sharing agreement goes forward, it is going on the August 3rd agenda, and then everybody can come in and speak about what you feel like about the development, the cost sharing agreement, anything to do with it.
Will it have been signed
No.
at that?
The board will not have approved it yet. They
It's
still
what-
have to approve it. Yeah, it will go on that agenda if they come to us. And I said, they want to have this thing done in a fairly quick time frame. I'm gone in
What
August too.
what's a fair?
By year end,
By year end, they want this all buttoned up,
they would like to, yes.
whatever this is, because we really don't have a proposal.
We don't have it, so we don't.
Don't,
But again,
what?
we don't
are
have
they
a
doing?
problem with telling them no.
Sorry.
We just proved that with this meeting tonight. They were told no. They don't have a cost sharing agreement. We can't start our studies. The board's not going to approve anything unless they have all their questions answered.
Are they talking about extending north of Town Line Road?
What's
Water.
the town line? So you gotta help me with direction.
Water and north, Town of Rock.
He does not know left and right.
Yeah, well, I know left and right. I don't know directions down there.
If you're driving toward Afton Road on Town Line to the right, is there water going to be extended north of
I
there?
have not seen the final study from the
What
city.
is it you're under?
It's talking about is surrounding all of Rock Road with water pipe, which would make it accessible to the town of Rock.
See, that's
Mobile,
different.
but it would not make it accessible across 51 to there. They have
And you're on
not,
the
but now
west
So
she's on the other side of 51.
that's the part that I'm saying, I've heard that that's also being talked about, John.
So I have a question.
Again, that's up to the city Beloit water utility is doing all that. We don't.
Your request.
Correct. So they're doing a study for it, but
So
their area.
is Town of Rock requesting that the city of Beloit, because we haven't seen anything to that effect.
I have not seen anything with water moving across 51. I want to see it on
It's
51.
in the freedom of
So
information.
I have a question.
Yeah,
So in the open records request, there is, it was alluded to that there's a developer number 2.
there was a developer number 2.
Was?
Yeah.
And no longer,
Done.
Okay.
It was killed.
Who was that?
Then same people are doing Beaver Dam, Mortensen Group. Yeah, I'm out by the sewer plant, out in that
Right.
area out there. And then
which
there's
would have been,
developer-
which would have been on Hendrick's land,
They said no. They refused to sell the land to the.
which that's where the BESS is trying to go to, is on
Right.
Hendrick's land. It's on FPA land,
Yes.
the battery storage facility.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is another data center developer that approached us too about purchasing land out on. I can't think of the name of it now.
What's fine.
You know where Dave Stern lives?
Yeah, he's out on the west side of Beloit.
That's where they were looking at buying 200 and some acres up there, but. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I had heard some stuff about that.
I mean, they contacted us. It's not Alliance area, it's Rock Energy Co-op, so I don't know. We haven't heard much, but It's not our land, because they got a private person they're looking at buying land from, but it's not in our sewer area, it's not in our water area.
I had heard some quiet rumblings about that.
That told you, so I can have this conversation about it.
I left the Garden Prairie presentation and there were plenty of officers around there and I asked the man, he was a male.
Okay.
Uh, I said, well, what's with all the police present?
Yeah.
You know, this seems, to me, it seemed excessive, chief. And he said, it's a very emotional issue and we're prepared for the worst.
Really?
This is what he
That's
told me.
the
I'm not making it up.
I'm not saying you made it up, but
And
those.
then the second part of it was, I said, well, what about Rock County? Why are they here? We called them for backup.
Because I think that was a concern of ours too, because it's common with these developer companies to try to turn the tide on the emotional residents, or that we're rude or we're obnoxious or they're afraid of us, or, you know.
Or don't go to the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't go to the meeting.
How you felt going into a union hall surrounded by union workers escorting you in one by one, where there's only 25 of you allowed at a time.
Right.
That to me was an untenable situation.
But I'm just saying that was what the overall feeling was, is it's setting us up to look like bad residents, bad people. Because if they were truly scared of us coming there, or they thought that we were gonna create some type of havoc.
I was scared of Dr. McCartney having people drive on his grass.
Yeah.
So that was.
Because I mean, obviously, well, you weren't there, but I mean, obviously with the city of Beloit, they had no issues with us protesting and actual protests. And like I said, 2 officers were falling asleep in the car. So there was.
They also should have known. I was the one that called their chief and.
Who did?
I did. They said
Beloit?
they did not know.
No. Jenny Hoople called the city of Beloit.
They did not tell their police chief.
Well, then that's on them, because she did call.
The Thursday before the Monday meeting, I called Chief Stewart myself and said, just so you know, because we had that conversation about 500 people up here. And I said, I want to just let you know, they're planning a luncheon, because I think they moved it at one point.
Yeah.
Supposed to be a guy that works, and then they moved it to.
She said, nobody told me. I said, this is within your department heads then. And so I'm the only one that even contacted her.
These guys don't really know the difference between the city of Beloit.
No.
Like, they don't.
But I'm worried about the city of Beloit then, because Jenny Hoople did contact them.
Did not.
She did let.
Department.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
The chief steward, then.
Well, maybe she couldn't get through.
Then I will
Come on.
I verify
She did
that. But she did contact them with them, and she just said, we're exercising our amendment rights. And they said, thank you so much for letting us know, and that they were gonna have officers on site.
Mhm.
So why that didn't get relayed to the correct person, I don't know.
Yeah.
And everything shouldn't have to go to the chief. I mean, that's why you
But your
delegate.
department head should talk.
Well,
Right.
one would think.
Yes, and that's where she said, I don't know. anything
And that's
about
some
this.
type of broken line of communication.
I said, well, chief to chief, you guys probably have different conversations.
And that's why I kept her, just saying, this is what I just heard, because that was just the Thursday before. This is what I heard. They're expecting 500 people. I want to make sure we have some parking, because we have one ways, I want to make sure nobody's parking on the grass, that's what Dennis's big concern was. I said.
It's not an easy access thing of it.
So at that point, I didn't know what they were going to have for numbers. I wasn't invited. I didn't know how many people were going to go to lunch. I don't know where they were going to park there, because parking's horrendous.
And we don't know who was on the invite list. I mean, we knew our board members were,
Yeah.
internal board members, but we never saw an invite list of people that were getting.
So I was just trying to get.
Was it Canatoni and Kennedy's? Because Kennedy's issued some of the invites.
They were there, yes. They issued personal
Talked to
advice.
Steve Kennedy, so I don't know.
Or his surrogates.
I don't know. I've only met the man once, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But.
So the overall thing keeps coming back, like Steve kept alluding to, you have to go to the landowner, Well, the average person I don't have the access to just say, hey, Steve, are you gonna sell your property?
Yeah.
He's gonna sell his property.
Okay. But,
He has agreements
he wouldn't
with
come out and
us.
say that.
If this moves, he's selling the property.
Right.
So here's
One more question, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat dinner, I'm hungry.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a poor public servant, come on.
Brother.
I want her budget line items.
Let's, you be quiet.
He called.
No, I just showed him and
I know, okay, what was your question? So I can go.
no, I forget it.
Oh.
It was 40%
I'm teasing
over of your actual versus the budget for 2026. There was an increase of 40%. And I'm not looking at benefits. I'm looking at overtime and payroll.
But it was only expenses throughout the.
Oh,
That's 2 months of
That's
expenses.
fair.
Was September.
And it's comparing actual to your budget, all like.
I
medical
told John, and John doesn't want to hear this, so plug your ears. I want to lose money, so I spend money at the end of the year to make sure I don't lose money.
And I made it to budget, I understand that.
Because I'll hold off ordering equipment if I've got a big expense.
You're right, it's the end of, there, I'm missing 2 months, but here's the 25 budget was $1,600,000.
Yeah.
The 25 actual was $1,200,000 and change.
What's the 26?
26 and 26 budget is $1,800,000.
So it's about
So
a
it-
3% increase
That's a 40% increase.
from
From
actual.
actual to 26 budgeted, and that's like,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at hours, I'm not looking at benefits, which you had another whole.
But again, we're looking at. not a full year.
Correct, yeah, I stand corrected on that because I was looking at.
Oh, I want your budget.
No, no, no. we're not doing that. What was your question, Sue? I wouldn't know. You had a question. You were-
Well, that is,
That's all I, no, you have one more question.
Yeah.
well, I have lots more questions.
I know.
I have lots more questions.
Hey, just, there is one thing I did want to bring to your attention.
What's that?
There is open records for April. Because I made an open records request on April 29th and you answered me on April 29th. So just so that you're aware of that.
I went through all of the emails.
I can send you an
gathered
email.
them all. So you're saying on August 29th?
Or I'm sorry, April 29th. April, yeah. April 29th, yes.
Okay, so you remember anything about it?
Yeah, you said, hey, Shelley, so great to hear from you. I just want to let you know, there's been no update since March 16th. I promised you guys that if anything came through that I would let you know, you would be the first ones to know. And it was a very nice email, but so you did respond within that day. So you did have 2 open records requests for April.
Okay, I'll have to watch that because I saved all that. So you're saying there were emails in the end of April.
The 29th.
But then they would have been in that batch that I sent your daughter. Because I sent her, because the way she requested it, it was everything that I had sent out previously, plus everything.
Anything new.
Correct.
The other thing that we're finding in other townships is that people on the board use their personal emails.
They've all been told not to do that. They all
Have you-
haven't told.
Have you done that?
No.
Have any of the board members?
No.
I mean, do we have to be concerned about that?
No, they all have a person or a work email.
How-
That's where all the agendas and that's where everything goes out to. The only thing you can have access to is communication between us and our attorneys. It's client.
Right.
Can we just get a FOIA request from now on? I mean, are they running this show? I mean, they're
No,
kind of
but-
directing traffic, because they're the ones who say, don't go to this meeting because, the people are. what,
No one's
threatening?"
telling you that?
No,
They said it
They
at
said
the
it.
Town of Turtle meeting.
Nolan is not running any,
No.
they're not running our.
You mean the guy that's on, Turtles, the legal for the Town of Turtle?
It'd be Mike Davis is their
Right.
term, yeah. What about it?
Well, I'm just saying, it just sort of feels like he's working more for the developer than the town. It reads that way.
I've not experienced that. I've not experienced that working with, and we work with Mike too
I
sometimes.
bet.
I mean, he's the one that did all the work on closing on the hospital down there. He was great in getting that done, working on the patients.
His legal chops. I'm
I'm
just.
saying his response time and working.
But the
for-
way he's hustling the Town of Turtle board about their agreement just seemed really,
I can't speak, I don't know. I
well,
can't
I was
speak to
there,
that. Okay.
and you were there.
Mhm.
And it read to me like, whose side are you on? He's not representing the board. They're kind of kowtowing to him, and it just doesn't look good.
We don't even have 10 come to our meetings. We can handle unless it's an issue that we feel like we need legal
What's their-
representation.
All right, like, maybe I just need to ask for like a budget, an actual 26 budget to date, like actual numbers to date.
I can send you whatever you want.
All right,
But some of it will be mine for legal.
yeah,
I don't know that we have is it pulled out?
For,
Because anytime we have anybody that goes to court, I mean, I'm just saying, we use them a lot.
like I already asked you for like,
my son's a cop.
Yeah.
my numbers, 40% is based on
Yeah.
a certain number of months. That's not like the year end.
Fine, so that-
Yeah, the whole actual, and then year to date.
Sure.
Do you have that through like June 30th?
I have not had a chance to put it together through the end of June yet, but I have to provide. No, busy, these people are keeping me busy.
Yeah.
Between the hospital, between this and between going on vacation and coming back.
And it merges with the city fire department.
in the merger with the city fire department. You know, I didn't have to be working this hard.
Good with the city, the fire department, as long as it doesn't, because my daughter had a seizure and we had to call for, for the town of Beloit to come. So I just don't want to see any change in our response times or any, because, we have no fire hydrants. We only have wells. So we are definitely like, we had a fire. We had a fire on South Edgewater, complete loss of a home, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. So that's just my concern that we don't mess up.
Right, and I can be totally honest with you, we put in notification to the town of Rock that we were canceling the agreement at the end of the term, at the end of December.
So
We
we're
have to
gonna go.
renegotiate the agreement with them is what it is.
So covers part of Rock.
Janesville covers.
Part of the town of Rock, yes.
The issue is, and all cards on the table, Janesville responded to 3 calls last year. We responded to over 250. Janesville's getting paid 3 times as much as we are. That's a problem.
That also comes out of my tax.
Who
I
negotiated?
get it, I know, but
And
the taxpayers
If you know
here
how much I
are
pay,
subsidized,
it would be choke.
but it's not fair to the city.
But
or
no,
town
we
residents.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, so anyways, we're again, the agreement ended because the town of Beloit Fire Department is not gonna exist anymore.
Right.
It's a Beloit Regional Fire, so the agreement has to be redone. And there's gonna have to be some equity in it between the number of calls and the amount of money that's being paid.
Right, and especially if that battery storage facility, especially if, the.
EMS calls
So-
between Sunny Lane, between the mobile home park, it's a huge drain. It takes an ambulance out of the system.
They had one stacked at Rockville.
Between Rockville and Sunny Lane,
Yeah.
yeah, that's 200 and some calls a year.
Jeez.
I know, I get the notifications and I'm like, what the heck?
And they're against the data center, by the way. We went door to door.
In the mobile home park?
Yep.
It was.
You know what, I think
I
we're
haven't
gonna
talked to them.
notify.
I'm going to Chubby Bubba's, so I can't.
Township, if you go door to door, you have to get a permit.
You do,
It's an house nexus.
yes, you're supposed to.
You said,
You have to let us know.
Yeah.
Is that Rock Township?
Beloit Township,
But is
You have to have a.
Rockdale is in what township?
Rock.
Rock, yeah, but when people were doing it here, I know that we're doing it here because they were by the schools.
Yeah.
That they just have to let us know.
Can we let you know right now that we will be doing that?
Well, you can,
Send us an email so we have it.
we got dates and stuff, so I can let her off.
So you should let off.
From here forward.
Okay.
We just wanted to keep you honest, Sean, so that you knew, that you could
We
see
don't
those
want an
signs.
officer bothering you, okay? So if you know that.
Was the city, we had a call and they went out there and he felt like he was being targeted. He was going door to door canvassing. If we had known it, but it's our policy, we'll go check on somebody's going door to door.
So add city windows and the bug control, when they come here, check in with you, and they go.
Yes.
There's some.
Doing it, and he was like,
They pay for.
okay, you can't be doing this.
Canvassers don't pay
That's the
for it.
story.
I think they pay for canvassers or
You
something.
don't have to change anything.
No, we just need to know
Just
what area you're in,
So we don't have to
Yeah.
spot
because it's the suspicious people. If somebody's out my door, I didn't want
people,
to answer.
police, because they don't want people.
Totally unrelated to all this other stuff. What's your position with any ice activity?
What ice activity?
If there's ice activity, what happens then?
Well, we don't work for them, so tell me what your question is.
My question is, if there's ice activity in Beloit Township, what's your response?
Well, I don't know that there is any, and if we do have lawfully, if we judicial warrants or we have court orders, we're gonna help facilitate taking people to custody. Those are criminals.
People off the street or out of schools.
Do we have an ordinance that talks about masked people going to people's homes?
No.
We do not. Should we do that?
No,
I would hope. to
Call
think that
your
it's
suspicious person.
And we're not gonna have to worry
Yeah.
about stuff like that anymore.
but
I see it.
If we see it happen in the town, maybe then we have to address it, but we do support our federal judicial partners.
We've had FBI, yeah,
I mean, if they have warrants that they're looking for people,
because it happens. We do it. They do come down.
Yeah.
And then you'll see somebody post on Scanner that there's been another roundup and it's people with judicial warrants. We're not looking for administrative people.
No.
Judicial criminals. Then we will support it. I had 250 people living at Town New School and I couldn't get anybody to come here to help me.
we.
I knew
begged
they
them.
were, I begged,
We
I
begged
begged,
them.
and they said we had about 18 people we knew we'd arrested between drunk driving, sex assaults in that school and domestics, and they would not come and help us.
What was this?
Oh,
Townview,